Is it good?
Yep.
Okay.
So my biggest question right now is, why do you feel the need to create?
The need to create is not something that is on a checklist. It's not something that is waiting for me to do. I feel compelled to create. And whether that's a poem or a painting or, going out in my backyard and digging a hole, whatever, right? I feel the need to, like, it's a drive, it's a push, it's something that's inside, and I don't know where it comes from per se, but I know when I've neglected it. I can feel a lack, a loss or something. And so I feel the need to create because it's just sort of part of who I am. It's like woven into me, into my DNA. So creating a space like Capitol Reef Field Station where we take students to go and think about creativity, to think about writing, or to spend time with like-minded people thinking about creativity, thinking about poetry or fiction or whatever they write. That act is an act of, like, generosity and joy for me. I want others to experience that jolt that can be had when you're among a group of creative people, like-minded people. When you're in a space like Capitol Reef that's so beautiful and so almost otherworldly, there's a sort of magic to the field station, to Capitol Reef itself. So taking students to the field station feels like an ultimate act of sharing the joy and generosity of sharing space together. One of the reasons I take students to the field station is precisely for the opportunity to be reminded that the work of creativity is serious work, and that we should take some time to reconnect with whatever that spark is, that we should take a moment to reconnect with those. And to do that with other people who are also doing that is beautiful. I don't know how else to say it.
I think in our culture, particularly in like a consumerist culture, there's this idea that creativity has to be attached to a product, and that product has to be attached to some kind of value. I'm personally trying to detach myself from product and focus more heavily on process. So going to the field station is entirely focused on process. There's no expectation to produce something. Being immersed in the creative act, but also the creative space to be able to produce without pressure. There's also no electronic pressure from other creatives or other producers who are doing something better than you, or that you can, compare yourself to. It's just students helping students, creating things for the sake of creating things. So I hope for connection, one, but also I hope that they can see the value of carving out creative space. We tend to think that, like, those who are creative, like, it just kind of happens for us, where really being writers is such an act of intentionality. You have to create space. It doesn't just present itself for you. I just think that the field station has something to give to any student who's willing to open themselves to the experience of having it. It's just such a transformative space.
What do you want to ask me about?
What makes you like writing?
Dude, that's a good question, man. I don't know. I feel like it's like sort of like the one thing that I don't feel like a huge idiot when I do. You know what I mean? It's like the one time where I feel like I can, like, be in control and on top of something, Also, just, it's cool to sort of express myself in weird ways.
I do think reading is important for any writer. Not just to draw inspiration from, but just to see what's out there and to develop your own mind and get more ideas about the world and perspectives that are not just your own.
I'm touching the divine, and the divine is reaching through me when I write, because I'm creating something, and only that process of creating is divine.
I don't think there's really a substitute for personal writing, and I think there's a lot more to be gained from personally putting like pen to paper, or personally putting your hands to the keyboard and knowing that you are the one who put those symbols in this sequence in order to create meaning, right? Because I think there is a lot of meaning in creating meaning.
I feel like writing is an essential.
Okay.
You know, it's something that I don't know if I would be able to process the way that I live or communicate with other people without flushing out my emotions and how I communicate with myself first. So it's like a conversation with my intention and who I am, and I surprise myself all the time by writing things that I didn't realize I knew how to say.
A spoonful of baking helps the medicine go down.